Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Tales from the Fandom. It is the month of June, even though we are recording this secretly in the month of April. I am David, your host. This is Tales from the Fandom, and just an FYI, listeners, if you happen to hear some thunder in the background, it is indeed storming here in Orlando, but I am so excited to talk to this guest. I have been following her work on Instagram for quite a while. Really enjoy it. We have Dominique, but you might know her as Dom, aka WorldofDomDom on Instagram and TikTok. Dom, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be on here today.
I have been looking forward to this for quite a while. I really love getting to know and meet people on Instagram. And not only that, like the creativity that people have, like, and you call it fandom fashion, and I
hmm
know some people call it like Disney bounding or bounding, where you're just
hmm
like take the clothes and you're like, you know what, this shirt and this pair of pants just combines to make this character, and then you take great pictures and rock it out, and stuff like that. It's really cool to just see and get to see what you create every time you post.
Thank you. And I'm glad you like it because when I hear things like that from folks, it just continues to encourage me to keep going and get more creative and just think because sometimes, and I feel like a lot of people who do fandom fashion, their biggest takeaway is I hope someone gets it. I hope everyone knows what I'm doing. And just like hearing people say, yeah, I get it. I love it. Keep doing it. It's super encouraging.
It absolutely is. I love the different characters that you do. I love especially like the Encanto characters that you brought out. I was like, yeah, like those are really good. Especially oh gosh, I really just was in love with your
Antonio.
Antonio. Yes, I loved Antonio because you got a bird there in the picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I have to ask, is this a secret? Is that a real bird, or did you Instagram, or did you Photoshop the bird in?
Oh, I for sure photoshopped the bird. I am kind of not I don't really like birds, kind of afraid of them to a certain degree. So that bird was definitely photoshopped in there.
There are things where I see stuff on Instagram, and at times I'm like, is it real? Is it not real? Are they really at this location? Is that something? Is that a creature that's real? And I was looking at it, and I was like, that toucan. The toucan. It's got a pretty big bill. I think it could be real though.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes just going to different locations and even exploring, just finding areas where you're just like, oh, I like this little gem, this little nugget I found right here. And then there are times where it's realistically I cannot get to the New York sanctum for Doctor Strange, so I'm gonna have to improvise and I'm gonna have to Photoshop.
There's no shame in that. No shame at all. Not everyone can just jump on a plane to go to New York.
Yes, exactly.
Now, Dom, we've got a number of fandoms that you're into, and I always call it like the big three because they're all
hmm
combined under the Disney umbrella, which is Disney,
hmm
Star Wars, and Marvel. Um,
hmm
it's so strange to say that out loud, to think that Disney like owns Star Wars and Marvel in that sense, and it's like they're so disparate. They're different, but now they're all
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
I guess we'll start off with Disney first, because they're
hmm
they're they're the big one. Um, how did you originally get into Disney? And with Disney, it's so wide and varied, whether it's like TV shows or movies or going to
hmm
like the parks. So, like, where did you get your start in Disney? Where's your love of Disney come from?
Well, as a kid, I definitely was one of those watching the movies, princess movies. I loved almost all of them, even like the underrated films with no singing, like Emperor's New Groove. I was definitely brought up on Disney, but I guess it really started to sink in for me when I was in high school. My home park is Disneyland, California, and my high school was invited to perform in the marching band and color guard parade. So I did that my freshman year and my senior year of high school. And then ever since, I just kind of stuck with it and it just grew from there.
That is really awesome. I can't
Hmm.
imagine like being invited to go to a park to perform, because as somebody that has gone to the park to watch people perform, it's like
Hmm.
that's so cool. But at the same time, I can't imagine like, oh my gosh, you're going to like Disney. It's like, and people are going to be there from all over the world watching me.
Yeah, yeah. I guess when I look at it from a performer standpoint, it's just like it's another performance. Here we go. But I also think of it. It's so much fun because it's Disneyland. It's upbeat. It's fun. And both times that I got to perform, it was around Christmas. So we had like the fake snow. We got to wear like fun Christmas hats and reindeer ears, and it was just a really really fun experience in high school.
Now, just out of curiosity, when you're done with that
Mhm.
performance, are they like, okay, be free, come back at X time to meet up and leave?
Well, pretty much, yeah. When I was in high school, we basically kind of had a little free for all for the first half of the day, and then they're all right. Meet us back here in Toontown at 12 o'clock. Count heads. We're gonna go backstage. We're gonna do all the fun behind the scenes stuff. Do the parade. Do the lineup. Do the march, and then after that, it's take a picture, and then you're free.
That's awesome. I can't
Yeah,
I can't that like that's another thing I can't imagine is just like okay, go free, fly,
yeah.
high school students, go.
Oh yeah, and definitely. Just because I have friends who are coaches as well who do color guard, and I've gone with them a couple of times with their high schools who've done the parade, just seeing them like running around the parks with like, their gear. And I'm just like, oh man, does that bring me back to when I was doing that?
Now, out of the world of Disney, what
Hmm.
what like what's your favorite? What's your favorite movies? What's your favorite TV shows if you watch like some of the stuff on TV? Like where
Hmm.
where where do you land on like your top picks of things from Disney?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I've prepared for this. I've been asked this all weekend. For sure, my top movies would be Lion King. I feel like that is just timeless classic. The soundtracks, I mean, come on. Like, it's great. And the colors, come on. I definitely love a goofy movie. That's just a really great relationship. Just seeing the relationship develop between a son and his father. And come on, like he's a teenager. And then you get to see Powerline. And then growing up, I had a really strong hold on That's So Raven. That was a really funny show for me growing up. And even today, like I'll go back and still watch old episodes. And I think it's even more ridiculous now watching it. And I think it's hilarious. And I'm like, I can't believe I missed this joke. Like, are you kidding me? This is hilarious. And yeah, and then some of the new shows that have come out, they definitely piqued my interest, but most of the shows that kind of have a firm grip on me are the Marvel shows.
Gotcha. We'll get to
Hmm.
Marvel later. Now, I love that you said Lion King, especially with the colors, the songs, like everything
Hmm.
going on there.
Hmm.
That's So Raven. I feel like those shows like That's So Raven, like Lizzie McGuire, like those shows that were all around at the same time. They
Hmm.
had the jokes for the kids, which I'm sure when you're watching it as a younger Dom, you were like, oh ha ha ha, that's so funny. And now, like you said, you're going back and rewatching them, and you're like, hey, I missed that joke. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
there's jokes for the parents that were probably like sitting with the kids watching it and being
Yeah.
like, oh, because that's what I've noticed when we watch certain shows, like
Hmm.
what I most of them like fall in the Disney area, like Disney shows or even Disney movies where the kids are picking them out, so the kids are watching the movie and they'll throw in something and it's like, oh dang, like that's a joke for me, like to keep me entertained in this
Yeah.
movie. And I
Yeah.
really love when shows and movies do that. It's like you're hitting across the board with everybody.
Yes. Yes. I definitely like that. And then even, I guess for me, like the newest one that I watched was Turning Red. And when they had the little Tamagotchis, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like my era. Tamagotchis are just thrown back into time and the boy bands and everything. And I'm like, wow, they're just really coming from my life right now because I was this kid. I was this kid.
Yeah, like your generation is like a couple years behind me because I was like I knew about the Tamagotchis, but I was not anywhere like holding on to one or anything. It wasn't for me, but I clearly remember them. I think my sister might have even had one or two of them at some point, but it's like, yeah, that's not for me. But like watching Turning Red, watching like a lot of the Disney movies that are coming out now, it's like, dang, like these Disney movies are not about like having a quote unquote like villain ish like
Hmm.
storyline. It's like more about like family and what is going
Yeah.
on and like growth and generations of what has happened with
Hmm.
family. It's I have fallen in love with a lot of what they've been making recently. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just, and like the way, like it just hits different. And I'm just, I think the first one that really hit different for me was Inside Out, just talking about emotions. And I was just like, wow, like this is a great way to just talk about how to express my emotions. And then with Encanto, just, oh my gosh, like the soundtrack, and then just feeling like the pressures, being like the oldest, if you have siblings, or even for me, like being an only child. And I was just like, oh, this is all hitting a little too deep right now.
Absolutely. I want to mention because people that are routine listeners to the podcast know that I send out
Hmm.
like a little survey questionnaire type thing
Hmm.
to kind of get information on what we're going to talk about. And one of the sections is about favorite underrated characters. And I have got to
Hmm.
say that you and I connect on that level with favorite underrated characters, which is
Hmm.
Kita, Megara, and Esmeralda. Because holy
Hmm.
cow, do they not get the love and the support that they deserve anywhere in the Disney area? And it is so sad.
Yes. Yes. And like, I just think, I mean, first, all of them just are their own strong, independent females in all their films. And I'm like, why are they not getting enough attention? Like, are you kidding me? Esmeralda was fighting off this guard, this knight off all on her own. Kita is over here speaking all these languages, thousands of years old, looks great. And I mean, like, come on, like, and then there's Meg. She's just super sassy and she's just, independent woman and just, it's just a lot. And I just feel like those three are just so underrated.
It is a shame. Like, and it's something that for and you know your episode is coming out on the anniversary of the podcast. So for 6 years,
Hmm.
I have been talking about how if Atlantis had come out just a few years later, it would have been such a big hit. Like when steampunk was like really going and people would have been like super
Mm,
into it. Like it
mm,
is that movie that was too ahead for its time, and it's
yeah.
sad that people don't just give it the respect because it's not just like Kita who's amazing. There's like a whole
Hmm.
cast of characters that are completely
Hmm.
underrated and need love. And then
Hmm.
like even with Hunchback of Notre Dame with Esmeralda, like I went back and rewatched that movie. Holy heck, is that like a really creepy movie to watch
Oh
if you're
yeah.
like listening and paying attention to it. And then for her character to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna, rebel against everything, kill me if you have
Hmm.
to type character. It's like the three characters are amazing. And Meg of course,
Hmm.
is such a wonderful character. Like she's a
Yeah.
damsel, she's in distress, but she doesn't need you to like come save her.
Exactly, exactly. That almost made it on my graduation cap when I graduated. It almost made it.
It's such a shame. I want more merch with them, especially yeah, like I have a fondness for Atlantis, and I
Mm.
like I need Atlantis merch. I need Kita merch. Like she's a princess. How is she not in the princesses? Like what's up with that? Come on
I
now.
know, I know. I recently did a little collab back in September, and we were all picking princesses, and I was like, I want Kita, like that's who I want. I'm going to do her, and just even finding things for her is a little bit harder. and it's just more work and just finding the looks or even finding things in my closet for that. And it's just like, oh man, like Journey to Atlantis, like you said, it was just ahead of its time for a movie.
Indeed. Indeed. Now with Disney, of course, there's constantly stuff coming out, constantly movies and TV shows being made. Is there anything
Mhm.
on the horizon that you are looking forward to that you're like, dang, I can't wait to watch this. I can't wait to see this like in theaters or on Disney Plus or wherever.
I'm really looking forward to Tiana because that is one of my favorite Disney princesses for so many reasons. And just knowing that she has a show, I'm like super excited just to see her story and like her adventures continue on with Disney because I feel like she's another one that's like, she has merch, but just not as much merch as I would like for a Disney princess.
Absolutely. And Tiana's one of those characters where they have so much that they could do with her supporting cast, with like the
Hmm.
whole setting. Like in my mind, as you were talking, I'm like, well, Tiana's getting a show. Wouldn't it be cool if we had like a Dr. Facilier like prequel? Wouldn't that be neat? I'd like to see something of that nature. And then,
Oh
the
yeah.
swamp creatures and like give me everything. Like give me
Yes.
stuff because it's not enough. It's clearly not enough when you have certain movies come out and it's like, oh, well, here's the movie. It's out. Here's a character. Great. You can see her in the park occasionally, and maybe
Hmm.
get a shirt or something with her on it,
Hmm.
and then
Yeah.
move on. And it's like, come on, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I literally sometimes feel like when I'm at the parks, I have to like go out of my way. And my friends are like, Tiana's here. And I'm like running over there because I'm like, she is not out as much as I would like her to. And then Dr. Facilier, like, are you kidding me? Like, he's another one where I have to be on the hunt to find. And then just even doing him for Oogie Boogie, like everyone was just like, oh my gosh, like I love this look. You have to go see him and this and that. I'm like, why are we only seeing him during Oogie Boogie? Like, why is this happening? But definitely underrated.
Right, like that, and that's the thing. Because here at Disney World, I don't think they do like Oogie Boogie. I think it's more of like Mickey's
Hmm.
Not So Scary Halloween, but they do like a villains
Hmm.
thing. So they have a lot of the villain characters out, and that's when you can kind of catch him and a few of the other like villains that you don't ever see ever.
Right,
And
right.
it's like, dang, like come on now, like we really need some of these characters to be out a lot more to get pictures with.
I know. And I'm a total like villain origin story all the way. And I'm just like, why the villain should be out all the time? That they need to be out all the time. They should be. It's not fair.
It's not like, I mean, I remember growing up and seeing like the big bad wolf going after the three little pigs when I was very, very young. I mean, like it's a memory that's still in my head, and it's like, some people just like the villains and the bad guys and want to hang out with them.
Exactly, exactly. And I honestly dedicate not only October, but September and October to be the full villain era.
That's awesome. On top of Disney, and you already mentioned, so we'll just slide right into Marvel.
Hmm.
Marvel is its own thing. Again, comics, TV shows, movies,
Hmm.
video games. Where did you
Hmm.
get your start? Were you like a comic reader, TV show, the movies? Like how did you find your way into the Marvel universe?
So what was so crazy growing up, I think when a lot of people are thinking Marvel, especially the older movies, we automatically think like, okay, we think of old Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, and you were like, all right, it's the OG Spider-Man. Okay, cool. And I remember watching it as a kid. I'm like, all right, this is okay. But I always love superhero movies, superhero films. I love superhero things. But the problem, at least for me, was I always loved DC shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Marvel movies were just they're just better.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they have this formula, it's working, and they just tend to be better. And I just think it was really interesting because I personally I didn't really love Marvel until I watched the first Avengers movie. I don't know what it was. just seeing all of them, the OG together. And I was just like, I need to continue watching these movies. And that's just where it started.
I had the biggest smile on my face, and this is an audio recording, so you can't see it, but I had the biggest smile when you said, the TV shows were so good, Marvel movies, got a lot better. And
Yeah.
I totally agree. Because especially like the DC animated stuff, like the DC animated movies and the TV
Yes.
shows, like those
Yeah.
were all so incredibly good. And then you had the TV shows that started coming out. It's like, dang, these are really good too. Like, I'm really
Mm-hmm.
enjoying them.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get Marvel where they're like, okay, we're gonna start with like Iron Man and Captain America, who back when they were
Mm-hmm.
coming out were not even like the A-list characters because they had sold all their A-list characters off to other people. And it's like,
Yep.
okay. And I remember when they announced the Avengers, it's like, I can't believe they're doing this. I can't believe they are pulling this off after, what, like 2-3 years where they'd introduced the characters, everyone had their movies, and now it's
Mm-hmm.
like, are you serious? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're getting an Avengers
Yeah.
movie? How, like, what world do we live in where that actually happens?
Yeah. And like, even not to compare, because I know a lot of people are like, how dare you compare DC, Marvel? Like, I know that's just heated battle for some. But like, when I would think of superhero movies, especially thinking of all the heroes together, I would automatically think Justice League.
Hmm.
That was just like my default, especially growing up. And the Justice League TV shows as a kid, I was like, oh, I love them. But then when I started watching the movies, I'm like, what are we doing? I don't like it. I personally did not enjoy it. And I was just like, okay, maybe this is a miss. And then when I just went over to Marvel, like, oh my gosh, like the jokes, they're perfect. They land them every time for me. I'm always cracking up. I think the scenes are great. The fighting scenes are great, CGI. And then the only one that I did not really completely love was, oh my gosh, I can't even think of it. The Eternals. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
I gotcha. I watched the Eternals on Disney Plus because I had to wait for it to come
Mm-hmm.
out. Um, I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think it suffered in certain parts, but it also
Mm-hmm.
is kind of like a movie where it's there, and hopefully it will set up for like a lot of things down the line.
Yes.
Um, but
Yes.
like my non-favorite Marvel movie has been like Thor 2 The Dark World for like a bajillion years. Ever since I saw it, I was like, it's not good at all. I don't like it.
the wigs the wigs were bothering me for so long. I was like, oh man, someone help this man. These wigs are distracting me the entire movie. But I completely understand. That's also how I felt about Captain Marvel. I know a lot of people are like Captain Marvel stans, but when I was watching it, I felt like I was watching Inception on a really bad trip. And I was just like, okay, okay. All right, not my favorite, but it definitely did do a lot of setting up for all the future movies and TV shows down the line. So I do appreciate it.
Absolutely. I think like that's one of the things where if it takes time, like especially with certain movies, it takes time for it to be like, okay, you know what?
Hmm.
Looking back on you now, like this movie or this character, you really did okay. Like, I
Hmm.
appreciate the work that you put in here to get everyone to like this spot.
Yes, yes. And I really try to have open mind, open heart when I watch some of the movies because, everyone has their preference for things and just certain movies I'm like, okay, I need to watch this in order to set up for phase 3, or I need to watch this to set up for phase 4. So we're just going to get through it, look at all the Easter eggs, digest this, and we're going to keep going.
Exactly. Exactly. That's how you got to roll with it.
Exactly.
Now, what are your favorites in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, whether they be movies or TV shows? Because they're all connected.
Oh my gosh. For folks that follow me, everyone knows I am a Captain America stan. Like that is my favorite Avenger. I love him so much. But I will say my personality is completely Iron Man. It's Tony Stark all the way. Tony Stark personality 100%. But I just love Cap. I definitely love everyone on on Team Cap, so I love Bucky, I love Sam. So Falcon and Winter Soldier was definitely one of my favorite of the television series that came out on Disney Plus. And then I think everyone's jumping on the bandwagon now, which is totally okay with. But I was stan Doctor Strange since the movie came out. Love him.
Doctor Strange as a movie, like I remember seeing it in theaters, but I don't think I've seen it since it left the movie theater. And it's something now where with Multiverse of Madness coming out, it'll be out by the time this episode comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But just I feel like I need to rewatch it, but at the same time, I don't know. There's just some kind of block. Like I watched WandaVision, and of course I watched the Doctor Strange What If cartoon episode. And so like I feel like I know it, but I need to go back and rewatch more of it.
Oh my gosh!
It's like
yes,
it's like there's an osmosis thing where you just feel like you know something, but maybe you need to go back and get a refresher. And I need to do that with Doctor Strange.
Yes, and maybe who knows? You'll maybe have another appreciation for it. Like every time I watch it, it's one of my default Marvel movies I just like to put on just because. And like every time I watch it, there's always that connection, especially like when you said WandaVision, I was like, okay, now let me go back and watch Doctor Strange again. And then Shang-Chi came out and I'm like, all right, I need to go back and watch Doctor Strange again. And then the Marvel What If episodes, I'm like, I need to go back and watch Doctor Strange again. And like they're like little gems that I feel like people are missing. And I mean, again, like you said, the movie would have came out by the time this airs, but I feel like all of those little nuggets. So I've been looking and watching. When I keep watching it for like the 5th or 6th time, it's all going to come to play in the new movie that comes out.
I'm so looking forward to it. I know, obviously, with 2020 and COVID and everything got shuffled around and rescheduled because like Multiverse of Madness was supposed to be before Spider-Man No Way Home and was supposed to be immediately after like WandaVision finished. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've done. I've seen a lot of rumors out there on the internet, whether they be true or not true. I'm going to go into it and, low expectations, like always. Like, hey, I'm here for another Marvel movie. They haven't really let me down yet. So
that's good. That's good.
I'm okay with it. Now, I want to circle back to your Tony Stark comment because you're like, so you relate, like you and Tony Stark, like you're on the same wavelength. Is that what you're saying? Like you're all like,
super. Yeah. Yeah. Like I feel like he's very logical, very like, no, the logic answer is do this, not do this. And I feel like Steve is very much like very pathos, leans towards his pathos. And he's like, well, my friends, and I never leave my friends behind. And as much as I love Steve, and I'm like, oh man, like he has such a good willing heart. But I'm over here like I side with Tony because the logical thing to do would not to be do this. Like are you kidding me? Like Bucky killed his parents. Like why would you? And it just goes into the whole like, I mean, I can go down this rabbit hole with that, but I mean, it's just, I definitely just relate to Tony on all sorts of levels. My friends even think so. They're like, you're definitely like mentality is definitely Tony Stark all the way. And that's probably why I like Steve so much because I feel like that's his offset.
I can see that. My mind is working and thinking about it while you're talking. It's like, okay, I got that.
Yeah.
I got that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff coming out in the Marvel universe. Like it always amazes me when they're like, oh, we have like 20 something projects in the works and here's 10 of them, but the other 10 we haven't told you about and you'll find out later what they are.
Oh yeah.
What are some of the stuff that you are looking forward to? Multiverse of Madness aside, because it'll be out by the time this episode comes out. But what else are you looking forward to watching?
I'm looking forward to Miss Marvel. I think it's going to be super cute. When I watched the trailer, I was just like, I already love this. I know they changed her powers a little bit from the comics, and I'm not a huge person who follows the comics. I, for the most part, pertain to the films, and I know how to keep it separate. Like same thing when you're reading books and then they make adaptations into movies, like you have to go in with the mindset like things are going to be different. But I am super excited for Miss Marvel and I am really excited for Ironheart. So I'm really excited for those.
Yes, Ironheart is something that, like, I keep hearing about. Oh, she's going to show up in like Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and then spin
Mm-hmm.
off into her own show, which they've already announced. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that's true. I really hope that's true. I wonder how they're going to do it. That'd be really cool. I'm ready to see her character. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love, like, I've been out of like the comic collecting and like reading, but I kind of try to, like, I try to keep up with what's happening
Mm-hmm.
to the extent, and I really love her character, and I'm excited to see where they potentially go with her, especially with like the relationship that Tony had with Peter. I'm interested to see
Mm-hmm.
if there's any connection that they do between Riri and
Mm-hmm.
Tony, like in like little flashbacks or segments or something. If they continue that
Yeah.
storyline, or if they go in a completely different direction.
Yeah. And like, I feel like the best thing about all the whole thing about Marvel is just, there's just so much overlap. I feel that even if you just jumped in this year, like, or even last year, maybe last year. Let's say you just jumped in last year and you're like, all right, I'm going to check out what this WandaVision stuff, what this is all about. And you're watching through it and you're like, okay, this woman has this grief and things like that. You can definitely go back and watch all the films, but even for someone with fresh eyes, just seeing the way things overlap and relate to things that are coming out soon in the near future, it's just amazing how they managed to have all those little nuggets and gems that I was talking about and how they all overlap and connect to one another, which I think is just so amazing.
I really need to see the Marvel like board, because like there's always that gif of like the crazy guy, and it's like it's all connected and there's like strings to everything, every picture and everything. Like, I really want to see
Yeah.
that. Like, I need to know who the person is that they go to, and it's like, okay, have we talked about X character, like whatever minuscule
Yes.
character? Oh yeah, we talked about him in this. Let's put him into this movie and then into this show and talk about this thing, which isn't relevant yet, but it will be
Yes.
5 movies from now.
Yes.
Like, that would be such an incredible thing to have, like job to have and
Hmm.
knowledge to have, and be like, you know what, I'm the master of all this knowledge. Mwahaha.
Yeah, it's just like, and it just doesn't stop. Like, I honestly feel like, because I definitely am that Jeff. That is me, especially last year when the whole WandaVision was coming out. I was like, all right, guys, this is going to overlap here, and this goes to this, and this and that. My friends were like, what is happening right now? I'm like, you need to pay attention, because you need to understand that this is going to happen in this season, but then this is going to happen in the next movie. This happens in this phase. And just like, I'm even already looking forward to Marvel's What If Season 2, because I'm like, these are what if scenarios. But then at least from the first season, when I was watching it, and especially the Doctor Strange episode, and then when I watched Shang-Chi, my mind was like, oh my gosh, those were the monsters that were in What If. Wow. Click. Like, click. So I would love to be in the room for that. I would love to even be a fly on the wall just for that, just to see it.
100%. And I want to go back to a comment you made before we wrap up Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
is that
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that continues to happen, is the people that with the changes, like you said, to Miss Marvel, they changed her
Mm-hmm.
powers, and that they're not beholden to what has come from the comic books. Like, they're taking stuff that worked in the comics, or they're
Mm-hmm.
taking stuff or characters from the comics and moving it over. But people have to remember, like, for all the stuff that you see on the screen, a lot of it has changed. Like, people, like when they
Exactly.
did Guardians of the Galaxy, number one, everyone was like, why are they doing Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, nobody knows who they are. I knew who they were because I love Guardians of the Galaxy. But like,
Mm-hmm.
even that, like, they changed a lot of the stuff in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
They've done different stuff. Like, the Ant-Man that you're seeing is not like the traditional Ant-Man character in the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've
Mm-hmm.
got these changes that are happening and going on. And sometimes even after the movie comes out, like, it gets reflected back in the comics, or sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
they show what the comics reflected to the movies. And I think that's one
Mm-hmm.
of the big things, is people just got to let it go and be like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy
Mm-hmm.
this however it is. And fingers crossed.
Exactly.
If you can't deal with like a different Tony Stark, or how Spider-Man has like 3 Spider-Men now, It's okay. The stuff that you enjoyed is still there.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the best part. We can all be a part of the universe.
Exactly. And speaking of universe, thank you for that wonderful segue. The third of the big three, you know, under Disney. So we got
Hmm.
Disney and Marvel. And flip-flopping over to Galaxy Far, Far Away is Star Wars. And
Hmm.
again, and I think this is one of my favorite things whenever I get to talk Star Wars is finding out your particular entry point into the fandom, because it could be
Hmm.
the originals, the prequels, the sequels, the
Hmm.
cartoon shows, the video games.
Hmm.
How'd you get into it? Where'd you get your start?
You know, when we're asking like where did I get my start, it just made me realize I watched probably too much TV as a kid. But it's okay. I think I turned out all right. But I definitely watched a lot of the prequels growing up. I didn't have a super strong tie to them, so I was very much like, all right, yeah, Star Wars, lightsabers, like, all right, that's cool. Not my particular thing, but that's cool. But then during the pandemic, everyone was talking about Mandalorian, and my best friend is completely obsessed with Mandalorian, loves it 110%, has like the merch, everything. So I said, all right, I'm gonna give this thing a try. I'm gonna get it. And like that for me was my segue like back into it. And then from there, I watched Star Wars, Clone Wars, like the TV show.
Yes.
And I was just like, where have I been? What have I been doing my whole life? Like, what has been happening? And then I watched Star Wars Rebels. I personally was not a huge fan of it. I know it was different, but I was just like, nope, this is not Clone Wars, no. And then I watched Bad Batch. I enjoyed Bad Batch. And then the sequels were not really my
Mhm.
favorite, but it is what it is. But I am looking forward to Obi-Wan Kenobi coming out. I'm super excited for that.
Which will also be out by the time this episode comes out. So that'll be an interesting thing. We'll have to catch up and be like, hey, how'd you like Obi-Wan? Um,
Yes, yes.
I love that it was The Mandalorian. And I'm going to say
Hmm.
it because as a fan of the original series and like the prequels, um,
Hmm.
and I had my thing with the sequels, and you know I won't get it. Won't This isn't the place to get into it, but I love that it was The Mandalorian because I enjoyed that The Mandalorian was something in the Star Wars universe, but not really, and it has its connections, but it wasn't.
Hmm.
It was like its own thing, and I love that they were like, okay, you know
Hmm.
what, we're going to do Star Wars like for real, like a Western TV show, like it's
Hmm.
like the cowboy drifter in space type thing, and
Hmm.
I love that. And it's one of the things whenever I talk Star Wars is I love the Star Wars universe. Can we please get different themes, different styles of shows or movies? Like, can we have like a heist
Hmm.
show? Can we have like, you know, you got the Western bounty hunter and the Mandalorian. Like, give me all these different things that you're not getting to show me in the movies.
Right, right. Yeah. And just I think because it was so different as well for me when I was watching it, it was definitely one of those things. I binged it like in 2 days. I was like, oh, this is so interesting. And it was just so different from what everyone typically knows of Star Wars, you know? So just watching that for me, it was a reawakening. And then I guess not even for myself, but for other people, I know a lot of people are like, oh, like I started watching Mandalorian and that's how I got back into it, or that's how I started watching Star Wars. And then I segued back into, for me, I guess you would say the classic when I started watching Clone Wars. And then I met Ahsoka and I was just like, where have you been my whole life? I love her. Love her.
It is absolutely something, because when Ahsoka debuted, which was in like the Clone Wars movie, I still don't think I've seen that, but like everyone hated her. Like she was like Jar Jar Binks level. Can't stand her. Like why is she with Anakin? She's such a terrible character. And I remember watching, like I got into the Clone Wars TV show and I'm watching, I'm like, okay, you know what? She's fine. Like she's like a kid, right? She's young.
Yeah.
But then I think there's an episode, I've mentioned it before. There's an episode in like season 1 where it's like an underground base and like there's poison, and she's like getting
Mm-hmm.
everybody out, but she's like left in there by herself, and you don't know if she's going to live or die. And it's like, dang, like that
Yeah.
was like that made me fall in love with her character, and then I just love her personality, love her relationship with her and Anakin, and her and Obi-Wan, and
Yes.
eventually like the
Mm-hmm.
clone troopers. And gosh, like
Mm-hmm.
what a character arc for a character that originally was nowhere in any of the movies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And just honestly, I'm a huge person. I'm also a huge reader. And one thing for me when watching TV shows or reading books is just character development. That's such an important part for me. And especially just making sure that when I'm reading protagonists or even like supporting characters that they're relatable, at least to some depth. And for her, I was like, are you kidding me? If I watched this when it came out, for sure, 100% relatable. And like even watching it now, just seeing her development, like you said, the relationship she has with the other characters, like, are you kidding me? I felt like she was a necessary character because I really thought we saw really how influenced Anakin got in my opinion, when I was watching it, like I was just like, are you kidding me? Like this is what we needed.
Hmm.
Because in the movies, it was kind of just like, all right, he's getting persuaded. All right, there's promises being made. They're getting in his head. But I feel like we didn't really deep dive into what made him turn into Darth Vader. And then, oh my gosh, like if you watch Rebels, and then there's that episode where they're facing off, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you can almost see him come back for a millisecond and then he just goes back to being his evil self again. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's an incredible journey. It's one of those things where when people talk about Clone Wars, it's a
Hmm.
conversation of this is what we should have had movie wise. But then
Yeah.
if you think about it, like you're getting multiple hours of movie like quality, and especially when they came back with like that last season of Clone Wars, and
Hmm.
you get that last like Ahsoka on Mandalore arc where it's like the 4 episodes,
Yeah.
and it's like you could be playing that plus uh Revenge of the Jedi or Return of the
Hmm.
Sith, whatever the third movie's called. And it's
Hmm.
like you could be playing them both at the same time, and it's just so tragic. Like Ahsoka's like, okay, I'll see you when we get done with this, Anakin, and then it's like you know what's going to happen. You're like, oh gosh, this is not
Yes.
going to this is not going to end well.
Yes. And then for me, when I was watching all of this, Bad Batch, I think Bad Batch came out, I want to say a couple of weeks after I finished Clone Wars, and just seeing them like execute Order 90, I was like, oh my goodness. Like literally just in that first episode, I was just like, I called my friend. I'm like, I can't believe they did this. I can't. And then you see Kaden as a young Jedi.
Yep.
I was just getting so emotional. I was like, what is happening right now? And just seeing them all again, almost like Marvel, just seeing that all tie in together and like overlap was just, it was crazy.
What cracks me up, especially when Disney Plus was announced, right? They had like the whole day of like, here's what we're going to do, and here's like the shows and the movies and everything. And I remember when they announced Bad Batch, I was like, who asked for this? Nobody cares about those clones that showed up in like the 1 or 2 episodes of Clone. Like nobody's asking for them to be a show. And meanwhile, the show comes out, and I'm like, it's a must watch. I must watch this the day that it airs, like within a couple hours, because I need to know what's going to happen. It was that good.
Yes. Yes. And just again, like just seeing it all tie in together, I was just like, oh my gosh. Just and I feel like for people who really aren't maybe into Star Wars like that or don't know much about it, I definitely would say like Clone Wars, at least Mandalorian definitely was what reeled me back in. But just if you kind of want like a quick, not quick,
Not quick.
a nice, I'm like not quick, but if you want a nice overlap of what's happening, like, are you kidding me? Like the Clone Wars, the TV shows, like that did it for me.
Yeah, it is something else. And now we're getting Obi-Wan, which we've been waiting for years. Like I remember going to Star Wars celebrations in like 2018, and it's like, oh, Are they going to announce it? Are they going to announce that we heard that Ewan McGregor's growing a beard? Are they going to announce something? And, it never got announced. And we're like, oh gosh, like
Hmm.
maybe it'll be sometime. But it's
Hmm.
really wonderful to have people that are so tied to their characters that are like, I want to come back and do this. I want to continue that
Yeah.
journey. And that just makes it
Hmm.
even more special. Like, and then you have these people on the creative side where it's like they understand the material, they're looking at the material and they're like, you know what, I love
Hmm.
this as a kid and I just want to do this for like the generation now, like creativity
Hmm.
wise.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, for me, I just enjoyed it so much that I just went ahead and she was just like, just come build one with me. Just come buy one. I'm like, I'm not buying a lightsaber. Like, I'm not doing that. And then like, here I am in November. I'm like, I guess we're building lightsabers. Like, that's how much I enjoyed it. That's how much I loved it, that I was just like, well, you know what, since we're doing this, I'm going to go ahead and get myself a lightsaber. So I definitely feel like it's a fandom that it's for all ages, like old fans, new fans, and it's just a really fun world and experience just to get immersed into, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And before we jump over to the last topic, I do
Hmm.
have to ask Dom, what is your lightsaber color?
It is purple.
Okay.
It is purple. It is purple.
I
There was no other way.
I,
Oh gosh.
now I do notice that in one of your pictures you happen to be
Hmm.
rocking a red one for your darkness character, your Sith type character. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely, yeah. My friend, she bought one as well. She has Ahsoka's, and then I have another friend, and he ended up getting Darth Maul's, and I was just like, well, we're having this little challenge. Do you mind if I borrow it? He's like, perfect. Thanks.
that's awesome. Now, like we said at the start of the
Hmm.
start of the episode, your fandom fashion, you
Hmm.
have a mixture of what like a lot of people call like Disney bounding or bounding, but you also just have
Hmm.
like really cool like outfits that just kind of work and like are in the
Hmm.
fandom. Um,
Hmm.
was this a conscious thing that you were like, I'm going to start doing this? Were you already doing it and you didn't know it? Like how did you fall into doing fandom fashion, the bounding and everything and that internet thing that is happening?
Hmm. So honestly, my first time I've ever done it was I did a girls trip to Disneyland back in I want to say like 2014 when I was like in college, and it was like a major fail. First bound, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm Lottie. I don't know if I'm like Little Bo Peep. People are getting different interpretations. I don't know what we're doing. So I kind of stopped. And then once 2020 hit the beginning, I was just kind of interested in finding people who enjoyed the same fandoms as I do. And then just putting together looks and going to the parks and just having those interactions with people was just so much fun. And just like I said earlier, like the best part about doing all of it, it's open to interpretation and how you view it. Some people like to do the nitty gritty and get every single detail down versus I like to be a little bit more loose with it and even cross and do like gender bent stuff, like I like to be a little more playful and loose with it, and you can still get the message across. So that's, I guess you could say, it didn't really become refined, I would say, quote unquote, until 2020 when I started taking it a little bit more seriously. I mean, we were all locked in the house. What we were going to do? So I was like, well, I have plenty of time to really go through my closet and put these outfits together.
Absolutely. Like 2020 was such a weird like thing at all
Hmm.
what it's my brain still thinks it's 2020 at times where it's like how is it 2 years later, like it doesn't feel like it's 2 years
Hmm.
later. But
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of people started doing a lot of different things in 2020, and I know a lot of people started finding and experimenting and creating, whether
Hmm.
it's podcasting or fandom fashion, and getting into it and checking people's
Hmm.
closets and being like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
what is your method to your fashion as far as like do you like set out a schedule? Are you like, okay, I'm going to
Hmm.
look for three characters in my closet and try to like
Hmm.
get pictures of them, or I need to go hit
Hmm.
up like the thrift stores and check and see what people have?
Hmm.
Like what is your process?
So I work in organized chaos. That's how my life works best, organized chaos. For the most part, one of the most important parts for me is comfy but cute. Like that's just how I live my life, just how I dress outside every day at work. Comfy but cute is my thing. So for sure, when I'm thinking of creating bounds, I think making sure it's comfy for me and cute. I also make sure it's something that I'm going to wear every day in my life. A lot of my clothes, I try not to wear like graphic tees and stuff. That's not really my style. I'm more solid color individual. So that helps a lot. And then just seeing what little accessories kind of go together. And during 2020, honestly, I think one of the greatest things about TikTok when everyone was that was the thing to do during 2020, I felt like when you went on TikTok, you could find these sound bites for the character. And I feel like that would be a really great way to relate and even put it together and be like, oh yeah, like I totally see that character. And at least for me in 2020, that's how a lot of it started was, okay, I think I have these pieces together. I'm going to see now if I do it with the soundbite, how can I enhance it? Maybe I should add some more accessories. Maybe I should do my hair a little bit differently. Maybe I should do something a little bit more embody the character, more like manic, you know? And that's really how my looks started coming together. And when I have time, again, I work in organized chaos. So I'll like be, just hanging out. I'm like, it'd be a great idea if I just did this. And then I'll like put it in my phone or write it down in a journal somewhere. And then maybe like a week or two, I'll come back to it. I'll be like, oh yeah, let me see if I can like put these looks together and then go out. Let me just go outside after work and just shoot this content, edit it, make it work and post it. It should be more organized, I know, but my process is very
Hmm.
organic because at the end of the day, I don't want it to feel like work. I want it to make sure it's really fun for me and I enjoy it. So that's why there's probably some inconsistencies with my posting, but for the most part, it's really just organic. And if I'm watching something or, if WandaVision's out, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do like a cute little WandaVision reel or like, Moon Knight. I have some Moon Knight stuff in my mind that I'm like, all right, I just need to go shoot it. I have the clothes. I just need to shoot it and just do it. And that's just how my brain process works.
And I think it shows in the work that you publish as far as like on Instagram, because I just got
Hmm.
TikTok and I number one, I am old and I don't understand how TikTok works. And then just as a side note, I don't like how when I open up TikTok, it just automatically like starts talking to me and showing me things. It's like I have my phone on silent. There's a reason I have my phone on silent. Don't start with the audio. I need it to be quiet. But but like on Instagram, I love the like you said, you're very casual, it's comfy, it's stuff, and like you're
Hmm.
not having it be like have like doing it as a business, as a job where it's like, okay, you got to do
Hmm.
this and you got to hit this mark and you got to make sure you
Yeah.
post at this particular time and whatnot. And
Hmm.
like I love to scroll back. It's one of the funnest things to do on
Hmm.
Instagram is scroll back as far as I can, go. And I love
Hmm.
seeing like your development of your camera work and your characters.
Hmm.
Like I'm looking at Audrey from Atlantis and
Hmm.
your Hamilton and going from those pictures to like the stuff that you've been doing now, and it's just incredible
Hmm.
to see the growth that you've had over the past 2+ years, but to see like
Hmm.
it like you can see like how comfortable and fun you're having with it versus maybe
Right.
somebody that is posting it more as a this is what I'm doing, my this is like the thing that I have to do for like my brand or whatnot.
Right. Right. And like, yeah. And kudos to those people who do it for work because I mean, that's so much fun. Like just be able to be creative and put your looks together and pose and take pictures. It's very hard
Hmm.
work, but it's also very like fun. But like for me, just and I'm so glad, thank you that you noticed, but just like for me, like, okay, how can I enhance this? How can I make this better? How can I redo things? And like one of my favorite things I've even done is there have been a couple of looks where I've done, like I could say back in 2020, where I'm like, all right, we got to redo this look. I know I can do better than that. And then when I do it again and just seeing it being received so well makes me like reinstates the fact that like, all right, we are growing, we are doing better, we're getting better with the pictures, getting better with the clothes, getting better with the angles, and it just continues to make me want to do it.
Oh, 100%. And I also like that not only do you share your fandom fashion on your Instagram page, but
Mhm.
you also have like the casual like outings where you're in front of the California Adventures Ferris wheel, or you're ready to go
Mhm.
on. I assume it's like one of the spinning swings on at Disney somewhere, because I haven't been to Disneyland since probably like the mid '80s, so it's been a while, and I have no clue about anything that's over there now.
Oh yes, I know some people are like swings. I would never, and I'm like, are you kidding me? All day, every day, thrill ride. We do it for the thrill. You just do it, and yeah, like whenever I go to the parks, at least for me, it's so hard to go and take pictures. I really commend those folks who do that because I'm there and I'm like, listen, I'm here to ride these rides, eat this churro, meet some characters. I'm not here to look cute.
Hmm.
Like I'm here to just have fun. And I mean, if I see someone along the way, I'm like, hey, and like Dapper Day's coming up. So of course, like for that, I'm more conscious, like, okay, like this is Dapper Day. We're going to take pictures this day. But for the most part, when I go to the parks, it's very much like, I'm here to ride the rides. I'm here to have fun. Build a lightsaber. Like that's what I'm here for. See the shows. Like I don't really take pictures not too often at the parks. It's just like, I'm here. You can say hello if you see me, but I'm riding rides.
Absolutely. And it's something where with how the pricing is, because obviously here down here in
Hmm.
Orlando, it's with the four parks, it's definitely a challenge for a family of five like I have,
Hmm.
for us to go at this point. It's like, dang, I remember back in the day, I say back in the day, like the early mid 2000s, where my wife and I would just go to the park to like take pictures with characters, and that's all we do all day is take
Yeah.
pictures with characters and eat, or go to Epcot and like
Hmm.
eat around the world. And it's like now
Hmm.
I can't imagine that. It's just there's so much going on and so many things that you got to do, and timing and all sorts of stuff.
Hmm.
But it's incredible to see, like, and I like that like, obviously with like Dapper Day, it's like, okay, like you said,
Hmm.
it's you're there like to do the pictures and to get the shots that you're looking for and getting the content that you
Hmm.
want to make. But I like that you go there to have fun and to like do the normal things. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And just like, honestly, I've met a couple of other content creators and a lot of them that have mentioned, they're like, I really like that you do your content at home. And I'm just like, and that kind of stuck with me because, like you mentioned, it's just getting so hard to realistically go to the parks, with the price hikes, the reservations. There's just a lot of things stopping people from going
Hmm.
regularly. And I just enjoy the fact that people can relate to my content. Like, okay, she's not at the parks. Like, I mean, that caption says she's in Asgard, but it's okay. Like, we know she's not at the park. We know she's not at the parks, but it's really cool just to know that, all right, she's still doing the content and making the effort at home.
Exactly. Now, out of all of what you've created, what's been
Hmm.
some of your favorite looks that you've done?
Oh my gosh, some of my favorites. Oh, that's so hard. Okay. So, oh gosh. Okay, so going back, way back, when WandaVision came out, or I would say when WandaVision, Falcon, and Loki, like it was like bam, like all three of those kind of were in that 6 month window when they
Yep.
all came out. There was look, I collaborated with another content creator who actually lives in Panama. And we did this Bucky Sam Wilson look together and she edited to fit the poster for the show, and it was like 100% spot on. And she loves Captain America like I do, so I was just like, this is perfect. So that was definitely a favorite. Watch, these are all Marvel looks. And then another one was a reel I did. It was like the Agatha All Along reel, and just someone who used to be a competitive performer, I was just like, it'd be really fun if we just do like a cute little like dance reel. Like, I think that would be fun. I miss doing it. Let's just do it. And a lot of people enjoyed that one, and that one was just fun to make. I could just say for myself. And then another project that I did that was really fun, and I would say recently, was I went to the parks and met up with some other content creators, and we did this Wakanda Dora Milaje look, and it was really cool because it was all of our interpretation of Disney bounding for the Dora Milaje. And that's what I liked the most about it. Like, there was no right answer. It was your own interpretation of what the Dora Milaje, how they would dress. And that was a really fun experience.
I had that picture pulled up while you were talking about it. Like, I had already clicked on it because I wanted to make sure I mentioned it because I love seeing that. And you had either some stories or reels of that too, of all of you walking, right?
Yeah. Like, and then everyone was just like, oh my gosh. And they just knew. And I was really appreciative because, again, it was just, open to interpretation, and everyone just like, you guys are Dora Milaje. That's so cool. I love it. And even Black Panther came out and talked to us, and we got to speak with the Doras, and it was just a really, really cool experience.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like the stuff that you've got, like, I'll just throw out a few of them, and what the first one happens to be Marvel, like Peggy Carter, in front of the lagoon or the lake. Your nighttime pose with your lightsaber, like, iconic, and it's wonderful. And it always boggles my mind how people go to the parks and are able to get a picture where there's nobody around them. Like, what even is that? Like, how does that happen?
Okay, let me tell you, that day, that was quite a day. We actually, so ironic, my best friend, we had came back from Hamilton, and we did our little lightsaber building experience, and we're running around the parks, grown women running around the parks with our lightsabers, and we're like, this is so much fun, oh my goodness. And then it was, I want to say, right when the park was closing, if you want the shot, you'll do what you got to do. And then their cast members were like, hey, it'd be really cool if you go to this area, the lighting's really good. And we're like, thank you so much. And we're running and just trying to get all these shots. And my friend, she used to be on the competitive dance team with me, and she was like, all right, I need you to like jump off the stairs, and I need you to give me more color guard because you're giving me more this. And I'm like, okay, I got it. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8, go. And I'm like, got it.
Yeah, it is something like that. That shot alone is just you and the Falcon and the mountain, and it's dark, and the lighting is just like it's so hard to believe, because you always see like and I now that I'm a TikTok person, I see like well, here's what the picture looks like, but here's what you didn't see, like behind the scenes, where there's like hundreds of people waiting in line, or they've got it roped off, or maybe they work at Disney and therefore they're able to get in and like do something really quick. And yeah, it's wonderful. Like, and scrolling through, you got a lot of Disney characters and Star Wars characters, and it's just really just fun to see the looks that you do and that you're creating.
Thank you. And then again, like, it's just really fun just to, when people just let me know, like, oh, that's really fun, I really like when you do these looks and these looks, because it just definitely, like, all right, opens the mind to creativity. And just, again, like I told you, organized chaos. I'm going to be sitting down watching something like, it'd be really cool, Dom. Like, I'm telling myself, if we did this look, we just have to do X, Y, Z, and just putting those looks together. It's always fun. And most importantly, comfy, cute. That's how I do things, comfortable, but cute. And then just, when I have time, just do the editing and do the lighting and just playing around and seeing what I can get from it and just moving from there. Yeah.
Now, my last question is, with this organized chaos, Do you have things that you're planning for the year, or like looks that you're like, you know what, I'd love to do X, Y, and Z look this year? Like, do you have a list, or is it more of a spur of the moment? Hey, this hit me. Let's go do this.
I actually do have a couple of ideas. I know when you post this, the show will have been over, but I do have some Moon Knight ideas coming up, and I just have to go shoot it. But I do have like looks for Moon Knight, a couple of reels and TikTok ideas for that. I've actually have an idea for Kita. A lot of these are closer towards Halloween, but because again, villain origin story, that's my life. I definitely have a Journey to Atlantis Kita Milo project in the mist. I do have, again, I like to jump around too, so I do have some more Scooby-Doo stuff. And then I do have some more Star Wars stuff coming to mind, especially because Disney's doing the After Dark Star Wars night, and I will be attending that. So I have a couple of ideas for some fun Jedi looks to do and some underrated Disney characters to do.
Awesome. Well, I know I'm going to be looking forward to seeing your work. And Dom, for people that are listening and they want to see what you're going to be working on for the rest of this year, to go back and check out some of your older content, where can they find you on the internet?
So everyone, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at WorldofDomDom. Both of the usernames are the same. So WorldofDomDom for Instagram and WorldofDomDom for TikTok.
And I'll have the links in the show notes, the Facebook page, the website. So that way, if you're listening, you can just click. It'll take you there. Make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you comment, because the algorithm, you got to do the, like and comment and share stuff when Dom posts it. So that way more people can see it. But I want to say, Dom, from the bottom of my heart, it has been a pleasure getting to talk to you about Star Wars and Marvel and Disney and just your creativity. And I'm so excited to see what you continue to do for the rest of this year.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. It was great coming on here to talk about fandoms. It's really great to just meet people through social media that share the same love for these fandoms as you do. So it's just, again, thank you again for having me.
Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fandom. Subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/talesfromthefandom to see photos, links, leave feedback, and check out upcoming guests. If you'd like to be a guest, email David at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com.